Light the beam! Light the beam! Light the beam! Light the beam!
We on, baby.
Oh, is that it?
We on, baby.
Oh, that was it?
That was it.
Oh, we've had our first massive failure. Light the beam. Light the beam, LG. Light the beam and pass it around. Welcome back into another live edition of the Sports Cave here, broadcasting from the greater San Antonio area, where we find ourselves 14 days away from the NBA draft lottery. We, of course, had the NFL draft, so we got a new countdown going at the top of the show. What is shaping up to be an extremely important NBA draft lottery.
Let's get Lady Luck on our side.
You know, it just so happens on a Monday night, too.
I know. That was weird. Like you said 14 days, so I'm like, it's coming on a Monday.
Yeah, 2 weeks. 2 weeks away from the NBA draft
lottery. We should know
lottery.
what we got by the time we start the show.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they usually do it in between. They usually do it at like halftime of that early game. So, it literally should be right like half an hour, few minutes right before we go live in 2 weeks.
Well, let's just put it out there. Let's know what we got before we go on. So if we go on 5-10 minutes late, it's only because we're looking for the picks.
Yeah, no, that'll have to be determined before we go live in 2 weeks. But tonight we are going to talk a little bit of Spurs as we talk NBA playoffs, because the rumor mill has already started up in Milwaukee with the unfortunate turn of events in that series. Of course, got NHL playoffs to talk about. This is the best time of year, if you ask me. But the main segment will be our NFL draft recap, where we need to revisit some of our thoughts from last week. Because
I seemed like a very, very uneducated person.
Well, I'll give you this benefit of the doubt. A lot of experts looked like uneducated persons.
I got the Niners
analysts.
picks right. We went D-line.
You looked better than Mel Kiper. I'll say that at least. But as always, we start with what I watched last night and Monday night, meaning what we watched over the weekend. Not just watched, but what we did over the weekend. And I'm sure like most of y'all, like Cap, like LG, I'm sure it was a lot of NFL draft, a lot of playoff basketball, playoff hockey. Of course, wearing my Chelsea jersey despite Liverpool officially winning the Premier League over the weekend. But as always, I like to share some of the more mundane parts of the weekend before we get into sports. And this weekend was just like any other. I came to a massive realization about myself this weekend.
Epiphany, huh?
A bit of one, and it's not a good one. Well, depending on how you look at it, it's a
need some course correction.
Well, possibly, and this is why I bring it to the jurors with me every week here, as well as the listeners. The roommate and I did a little quick shopping trip over to the outlet mall this weekend.
Oh,
it's a great time of year.
You stepped up your wardrobe? Are you dressing your age?
So to give the secrets away, you go this time of year, and then you go in like September.
Yeah.
This is the best time. You get the deals, get things that are out of season, hold on to them for the next 6 months. I don't care if it's in style or in trend.
Yeah.
But you can find some good deal. I got a great pair of Russell Westbrook's last pair of Jordan brand signature shoes. They were on crazy sale.
Oh my god! I never got into the basketball shoes.
Well, I've been playing
I'm rocking
basketball.
long socks and Birkenstocks.
I've been playing basketball again to try to work off all the funnel cakes I've eaten so far, because the carnival is basically in my front yard at the Alamo Dome.
You just smelling fried dough every morning.
We're going to keep a running count of it. The thing opened Thursday. I've already had 5 funnel cakes.
God damn.
It's not good, brother. It's not good. But something else, did a lot of walking at the outlet mall at least. So maybe
Burn those
some
calories
trade-off.
off.
No, the epiphany is, I think I'm the shopper between my household.
Little role reversal.
I think it is. And it's an unfortunate realization I came to. So we went.
Are you the shopper and decorator, or is it
No,
more
not
fashion,
so much.
or like just fashion sense?
No,
shop?
not so much decorating or certainly not fashion sense. But when it comes to, so we went, I think Thursday, so it's been, since the last time we talked, we went Thursday. The place closes at 8. So we went after Steph got off work, get over there about, 5:30ish, little hair under 6. And within the first 30 minutes, she's like, okay, I got everything I need.
Oh, you're the slow shopper. I hate you, man.
Not as much the slow shopper, but just so she says,
Let me look at the back of the rack.
That's 1,000%. Like, I'm going to cover, it's like I'm playing Zelda. I'm going to cover every inch of the room looking for secrets, looking for deals before I'm ready to move on to the next. So it's 6:45. We've still got over an hour to go to other stores.
You disgust me.
Again,
man.
I'm not proud of myself. I'm not proud of myself at all.
I go in like it's a military mission where it's like we got 3 sectors to hit, and we got 5 minutes to get it done with. Let's hit it.
Yeah, that's exactly how she is, which left me in the position of, there's still like 3 or 4 stores I want to try to hit.
Oh my God, that's
and
like
we've
my
still got
nightmare.
over an hour. And so I asked, she's like, all right, I got everything I need. And so I kind of, without being the person that's like, well, I want to do more shopping, because I'm certainly not going to say that. So I tried I tried the maneuver of, well, we've still got over an hour. You sure you don't want to go to the Levi's store? You sure you don't want to go to the Wrangler store?
Oh, you're just gaslighting the shit out of her.
A little bit, yeah. Minor gaslighting.
I think we really should. I think we really should hit that Levi's store. You never know when you're gonna find a red label.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you never know.
You never know.
You don't know unless you go actually walk through the store. Couldn't convince her. No. Couldn't convince her.
I could see her on her phone just being like,
oh, okay. So speaking of that, so I said, well, I just want to run into the Vans store because I need a new pair. I just want to get a replacement pair of Vans. Like, I won't be in there long, which is where I made the mistake. Because as soon as I said that, she said, well, then I'll wait in the car. And so then I'm like, I am literally like, she is the husband that is waiting in the car while the wife claims like, I'm only going in for one thing.
Bro, that was my whole marriage. Dude. Me waiting in the car. All right, we got to go to the dinner. I'm like, I'm going to be in the car. 5 minutes later, 10 minutes later, I'm just stewing. I'm going to honk this horn. I'm going to honk it. And it's always right when I do honk it, she's walking out. Yeah. And I get that dirty look, just you little. No.
Yeah, you're just laying on it like a dog stuck in the car. No, the unfortunate thing was when I walked into Vans, of course, it's sale season, so you buy one pair of shoes, you can get another pair half off. And
or
so,
2 for 1, so I got to get 3.
All of a sudden, the one thing I came in for, it's like, well, I would be stupid not to look around and just, see if they have any other size 14s in the store. So that was
that woman. It was on sale, so we saved money. Again, we didn't lose money.
And so I'm the wife doing girl math.
Money.
I'm doing girl math to try to convince her. Like, no. I practically, they forced me to buy these because the deal was so good.
System tariffs are coming, babe.
Yeah, well, luckily I got some of my shopping done over the weekend. Although, again, it led to the unfortunate realization that
you're the other one.
I think I'm the other one in that situation. But outside of that, we went to a. I mentioned last week my buddy Aaron, bar owner there in Southtown. Gimme is the bar I couldn't think of last week whenever I was scrambling.
I like the name.
Like Johnny Manziel in Tuscaloosa, trying to remember it. But shout out to Aaron. Surgery went well. Apparently not getting to enjoy Fiesta, but Apparently everything is going well so far. But I mentioned that I went to we talk about this show currently being a soft opening. Actually went to a soft opening of a bar in Southtown this weekend. And
can we get the name or no?
Brother, if I remembered it, I would tell you. This was
so it was a soft opening for bartenders, so that means shots,
pretty much,
and a couple more shots,
pretty much. And shout out the bartender that whenever I tried to order a specific tequila, he's like, "Brother, you don't want to pay that price tonight. Like, it's just
they are killing
take
us around
Espolón
town.
and move on."
Yeah, dude. Like, I mean, what was it? Casamigos and Don Julio went up $10.
Yeah, Don. I was trying to get Don.
They moved the Don from $6, $7 up to $10 to $12. I'm like, that math don't add up.
No, again, tariffs are coming for everything.
Oh my god,
especially Mexico apparently. But the bigger takeaway from it is, I'm at the point now, 30, do some math, born in 86, 39 years old. Going to a soft opening of a new trendy bar in Southtown.
Oh, you're the old guy. Don't you love it?
So, first of all, I'd already been at another bar watching the draft that night.
Yeah.
So, I'm already...
You tipsy.
I'm tipsy, and I'm in, like, sports mode, and I'm in, like, this competition, competitive mindset. Like, I'm not in a let's be chill, hipster Southtown bar vibes at all. So, as soon as I walk in there, it instantly felt like Animal House of just everyone all in unison turning around and looking at me. And
because everybody knows each other, and they're all like,
who is this long-haired, tall guy? And so I just literally gave a double thumbs up. I was like, I don't know what to tell you. I'm here. And so I walk over to the bar to try to get a drink, and immediately this chick just gives me a big old high five. And so I'm like, okay.
All right.
It's not going to be as bad as I expected. Yeah. Okay, at least I'm being met with some level of friendliness,
You're like, look at this old dude.
Just wait. So end up getting drinks, meet the roommate and our friends outside on the little patio. And then the girl that gave me the high five is there talking to him. And so now I'm starting to think, like, what is actually happening here? Like, what is, like...
The girlfriend the wife set you up again, or what?
No. I've known the girl that gave me the high five for like 10 years. I just didn't even, because I'm already, I'm like, oh, hey, I just got a high five from a random strange hottie at the bar. Like, I'm feeling great about things.
It's like your confidence is booming right there.
Through the roof, brother, through the roof. We had to go outside because my head was getting so big.
Oh, I feel great when, like, some of my old bartender friends, and they're still looking good in their 40s and stuff, and they see me and they're like, hey, and then everybody around me is like, and I'm in my basketball shorts with a cutoff shirt, and they're like, why is this dime piece all over this guy? What does he got? I had guys literally come up to me more than once and being like, who are you?
Teach me your ways.
Yeah, like, who are you? You came in here dancing with two girls, walking in, strutting all the way to the end of the bar, and I'm just like, I'm the captain.
That's all you need to know. No, I've had multiple people. Who's this cat that's doing the show with you and LG now? Oh, that's the captain. Yeah. Who is he? Oh, that's the captain. I don't know what else to tell you.
Got to remain an enigma.
Yeah, well, at least maybe if someone gets LG liquored up enough, he'll tell stories of y'all playing Pog back in junior high.
Oh, no knifing.
Oh, it was fun times. Yeah, I love playing Pogs.
It's still
we are working on. I'm kind of throwing down. Like, I think I was up late. My dad had to go to the hospital, so like I couldn't go to sleep. And I think I was texting LG at like 4:00 in the morning, like names.
Oh yeah, that's late.
I just ignore those texts these days. Yeah, they happen too often.
I'm like, I got to get it out. I know I need to use like a notepad, but I'm like, if I text LG, there's gonna be like next time I open it up, I'll be like, oh yeah, that's right, right.
I am the old man. I notepad next to the bed.
Yeah.
Notepad on the table right next to my side of the bed, just randomly.
I'll do that, but I use the notes app. I mean, I don't write it down.
No, I mean, y'all know. You try to read my chicken scratch run sheet. I could type this for us, but
Yeah. Shout out to Keto Jar in the chat. He says, "Sup, Puma."
well, what's up?
And we've got a international listener here viewing in the UK.
Was
Patty.
that Patty?
Patty.
Oh yeah.
Patty. Hi.
Interested in the Chelsea.
Yeah, he says, so interesting to see an American Chelsea fan. He's chiming in, a Chelsea fan from the UK. It's just past 2 a.m. over here in the UK.
Hey,
international.
Man, thanks for listening up on Twitch.
yeah, spectacular. Love that he's a Chelsea fan too. Now, when I was in college, when I first got into soccer, I never had any time for it. Never played it growing up. Never had any interest. And then I learned that Champions League games or Premier League games are on at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, or some Premier League games on at 8 a.m., 10 a.m.
It's better than watching the morning show.
Well, and it's time. It's if sports are on, then it's okay to drink. Then it's okay to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean that's how sports work, right?
They would get young Puma.
If there are live sports on the
degenerate.
television,
Can you even drink where Chelsea plays, or is alcohol banned at the stadium?
Oh, no,
Because I know
no.
a lot of those places
I think they
they've
get like
banned
a year
alcohol.
ban. They get like a year ban, and like they got.
Well, Barcelona's a complete ban. There's
Oh,
no
they-
alcohol in Barcelona.
yeah, England,
At the stadium.
England way more
That's gotta
lenient.
hit the revenue.
But the pubs are
The pubs are surrounding the stadium.
Correct.
Yeah.
like built into the stadium
all
almost.
tanked.
So
They're
what
all
you do is you go to the pub, you get wasted, then you stop by the sports book that's also connected to the stadium, and then you make a bunch of drunken bets, and then you walk in, watch the game, get completely.
Well, don't forget all the beers you can buy while you're walking to the stadium from the random, local screwball that's
The youth.
selling the beer just on the
Exactly.
street.
They
Like,
got
here,
the
one beer.
kids.
Yep, €4. Here, boom.
Kids sitting on ice chests. And it's like, you
No,
want
they
water?
take advantage.
Yeah.
They do.
Oh, I think if we're being honest, I think they kind of have sports figured out compared to our over corporatized.
Oh yeah.
Oh, a
everything.
football match,
It'll
soccer
never-
match is way better because they don't have
That's
time.
why
They don't have
soccer
the
will-
media timeouts.
No.
That media timeout bullshit
They will never. That's why it will never be that popular in U.S.
because it can't make them enough money.
They can't sit there and
Bingo.
do ad revenue enough.
Bingo.
They're like,
It is-
what, 45 minutes straight of soccer? You're telling me we can't break that up in 8 segments and put 16 advertisements in all in one?
It drives me crazy if you watch an MLS game. Every 5 minutes, they'll shrink the actual action to
yeah.
do an overlay graphic, and it's like next 10 minutes brought to you by Audi, the official car dealership of MLS. Soccer.
Everything is sold. So Patty's in here with the facts. He says, so you can drink at the stadiums, but not while watching the game. You can't take them out to your seats watching the game. So you can have it like at the little concession stands, I guess, or the
So
bars,
you get-
but you can't have them at your seat. Patty says he went to a game a month ago and had a few in the pub where Chelsea was founded. Oh, that's badass.
Hey, that's the story.
Yeah,
That's
that
bucket
is
list
badass.
right there.
That's
Yeah.
a story.
Man, it sounds like I need to come visit Patty and get a full Stamford Bridge experience because going back, the reason
I've never been across the pond. but
Really?
It's an interesting place. Yeah.
I'm, just like you.
Fair.
I don't understand. Like, I got to fly first class, and it's like $8,000 a ticket. Cause
Yeah.
like, my knees are in someone's back, and I'm having to sit there and tell them it's going to be like this for 8
Yeah,
hours.
just get
like,
used to it.
Yeah,
you can
unless-
buy the 2 seats, I guess.
Well, I'm sitting there like wide leg, bow legged. I've done it like on Southwest flights where the seat was just happened to be open.
Sure.
My knee's still in the back. They just jamming these poor people, man.
Again, it's got to make that money.
Gotta make that
Got to
money.
make that money. When I was in college, fell in love with Didier Drogba, former Chelsea striker, a dude that he's from Didier Drogba.
I caught that. Bad boy.
He literally, not literally, but he was a major part in agreeing to or negotiating a ceasefire in the Ivory Coast, where his
He was
originally
doing
from.
humanitarian work.
Yeah, he used his, and me being a political science nerd major in college, you mix politics and sports, and brother, I'm I am your target audience now. Like, you have me for life at that
The
point.
Russian doping scandal will be a whole episode.
The best years as a Chelsea fan were when a Russian oligarch owned the team.
Oh, yeah.
I miss the Russian. I miss Roman.
Paid all the money.
Now we're owned by an American and we can't win shit. We're fighting just to try to be top 4.
Well, they need to be owned by old Ryan Reynolds and
Yeah, that
Always
Wrexham.
Sunny.
I have that in the quick hits to mention because we've done way too much soccer talk at the top because I did want to
Thank you,
talk
Patty. I
a
liked
little
it.
bit. Yeah, thank you. Thanks for listening from across the pond. I thought y'all were gonna tell me that was our one Algerian listener. We have a dude that downloads every episode of the podcast in Algeria.
Oh man, I am
Home of
interested.
Riyad Mahrez. That's about all I have
I want to
for
know
you.
more about this man.
Yeah, so I've drilled down the demographics, but I can't. I don't have a number to text and be like, "Hey, what's
Like,
your scene over there? What
yeah.
are we doing?"
Tell me, get more people, man. I'd love to be blown up in Algeria. Hold up.
Well, that would
that didn't hit right.
phrasing,
That
but
didn't hit right.
but let's hope. I mean, if we get one more person
love
from
you.
Algeria, we double our Algerian representation. So.
Hey, that could go on the call sheet.
Yeah. Last thing I haven't had. Baseball's taken a bit of a backseat this week just because of all the stars, playoff hockey, the NFL
Playoffs
draft.
have been amazing.
Have you seen my
good.
baseball?
So I'm
Except
relying.
for the couple series.
Yeah.
Poor Damian Lillard, I think, was it ACL?
Yeah, and we're going to talk about that
Yeah.
because some of these matchups are playing out better than you could have expected.
Clippers, Nuggets,
But I'm relying
Lakers,
on you
Minnesota.
to keep the pulse of baseball going
I still
while
got it. I'm still
at least
watching.
while my stars are alive still in the playoffs. I did watch enough to see my Rangers lose on a little league home run.
Yes, those are always
yesterday.
good.
Are they?
Yeah.
Are they?
I mean, it's a little sharp stick to you, but
Are they
you
good
know.
when they happen to your team? Because the Rangers committed 2 errors on the same play, 2 throwing errors. A guy hits a ball to the pitcher. He hits a ball to the pitcher and ends up scoring on 2 errors.
It reminds me of a World Series that I totally forgot about that just happened, and I don't remember who won.
Oh, really?
You know, yeah. I mean, there was a lot of supposedly.
If I give you a minute,
a minute.
do you think you could? You think you
I'm
could
gonna
remember?
wrap it up with a minute. Right now, we got sweet Aaron Judge hitting a nice 407. We should have railroaded our division rivals, Blue Jays. Vlad Guerrero Jr. does what he always does and beats and just mashes on us. We got Fried playing like Garrett Cole himself. 5 wins, 0 losses, leading the majors. Our bullpen's getting healthy. We got Goldie, who's hitting second in average with 356, 357. So we got the first and second batting average. Judge is leading about 10 categories in hits, WAR, all those crazy stats. And if you could have predicted that Bellinger was going to be hitting a soft 200 and Garrett Cole's out, so is Hill, our other starter, and we are 4th in the league, I wouldn't have believed you. I would have been like, yo, something's going on. Everybody's underperforming, but the Yankees are doing great. And thanks, Captain.
Unfortunate. Man, that minute felt long.
Oh, that felt excellent.
That
man.
felt like the longest minute
loved it.
I think we've had yet.
I think I was soiled myself.
As far as good Lord, as far as the rest of the weekend, y'all got any?
That's right, Chris. Go Yankees.
Y'all got any big shopping adventures or?
I managed to secure a Nintendo Switch 2
No
finally. Yes.
way!
You nerd.
Yep.
Did you do the stand in line at GameStop?
I did not.
tell me you did. I
I
wanna
happened to catch a shadow drop that Walmart did at 12 a.m. the other night on Thursday night.
Shadow drop. What the fuck?
Yeah, they didn't announce it. They just dropped
just
it on
drop
their
'em.
website
And
How do
it
you, are you like
spreads.
in a forum? Are you in a forum? or
a
something?
Reddit. Yeah, a bunch of Redditors. I was on the Nintendo Switch 2 subreddit, and a bunch of people were like, Walmart now! Walmart now! And I was like, boom, Walmart now! And it was like, it was It was like just buying a regular product.
You had no issues with
no
it?
issues
How
whatsoever.
many nerds were in there in the line with you just talking?
I'm sure
about
there were a
it?
lot because
Thousands.
10 minutes later, I looked and see if it was there. It was gone.
And it was
They were all
gone.
gone. Yeah.
Oh my god!
Big shout out to Patty. Thanks, buddy. He said he's got to go because it's late as hell across the pond.
Well,
Hey, drink one for
So
us.
thanks for listening, Patty.
yeah, evangelize to your brethren over there. Let them know. Let's increase those UK numbers.
Yeah, buddy.
I mean, we got some cheap flights over there every now and then. You can get a cheap flight to Manchester or London. There's a direct from Austin to London now. So
Yeah, the roommate and I actually might have been looking at some direct flights from Austin to different European.
I've done that many times.
There's-
Gone up and just left the car in Austin because
yeah,
That's not bad.
it's cheaper. Sometimes it's
there's
cheaper.
two directs. They got a direct to Amsterdam now and a direct to London. So
You know what Austin had?
So again,
Hey!
I said the roommate and I were looking at direct flights.
I know.
We
Of
weren't
course.
looking at the ones to London.
exactly.
Yeah, it was Amsterdam.
Yeah.
I know my flight pass.
The old red light district.
That's just a tiny ass area.
Yeah, that's not even
nothing.
that's not
That's
even.
The
nothing.
expert LG, tell me more. How was that red light district?
It's not. It's nothing.
not-
It's
it's-
nothing compared to the Pattaya or Bangkok.
Your imagination is way more than what it actually is.
It's like 50 feet.
Is it like
Yeah.
bullet holes and C-sections?
No, they're 10s. No, they're all 10s.
They're all 10s.
They're all 10s.
Yeah, no,
So
they're-
my
they're all
imagination
10s.
is.
They're all-
I'm under expecting.
Well, it's just not like a huge part. It's like the smallest district in all of Amsterdam.
Yeah, you're not. It's not.
It's not even like.
But they are definitely all Bill Belichick girlfriends.
So one of my favorite things. Oh my god. One of my favorite things to do every time we go to a town like San Francisco or Oklahoma City or anywhere that I go to a sports event, I try to find the raunchiest strip club, and I'm talking like I want bullet holes and C-sections.
Oh my god.
And I did didn't I take
Stab
you?
wounds.
Did I take you to Denver? No, we didn't go to
No,
Denver.
no,
Oh, okay, because I've
no.
been to Denver.
Well, I've been to Shotgun Willie's in
Yeah,
Denver, but
shout
that
out to
wasn't when
Shotgun.
yeah.
That was a good one. But
That's where what's his name got caught with the gun.
Plaxico.
no,
That was an NBA player, I think.
I know what you're talking about, but whatchamacallit, yeah.
No,
so,
that was Atlanta. Never mind. Confusing my strip clubs.
It's easy
Magic
to
City,
do.
baby.
I took my friend Casey. We went to go see Bedlam, Oklahoma State in Oklahoma years ago, and I took him to one where we were the only two white boys, and about 5 cops were circling around the parking lot. He was nervous. He was so nervous. I'm sitting there just
Was
giddy.
it in Norman or
no,
Stillwater?
Oklahoma City.
Oh, okay. Oklahoma City.
yeah,
Okay,
because
okay.
it was in Norman, so we went to Oklahoma City.
Popped over.
And this guy was like, "We don't go." I'm like, "We're going in." And then, of course, there was a mixtape drop, and it was
The worst
awesome.
one, the worst / best one I've ever been to was in Vegas. We told we had done some research from a local that used to live there, a kid that we all knew. And he suggested a very specific one. I don't remember what the name, but it was in Vegas proper, like in the city, away from everything else.
Spirit
right?
Rhino?
Yeah,
I don't know.
No, that's the expensive one.
That's close by the strip.
yeah, no, we weren't. It was not expensive.
Oh, it was outside the city limits, so they
Yeah,
had
the
extra activities
locals.
available.
That's correct.
Yeah, okay,
Yes,
I got you.
That is correct. So
The old
we get in.
ladies of the night.
We call this Uber. Get into the Uber, and the guy immediately, before he says like, "Hey, how we doing tonight?" Anything, he just goes, "I saw your destination." And I'm like, "Oh God, what's he about to say?" Like, he's like,
he was prepping y'all, man.
"I
He was-
saw your destination. Are you sure there's not another one closer you would like to go?" And I was like, "Yeah, no, this one.
This is it.
It's been suggested to us." And he looked at me and he goes,
You've been saying.
"Can I ask who suggested it? Like, was it an employee at the?" And I was like, "No, it was one of my friends that used to live here." And he goes, "Oh,
Friend.
He goes, "Oh, he was a local." And I was like, "Yeah, this is where he said to go." And he goes, "Okay, that's why he knows. That's why."
Yeah.
So he was like, "You're fine. There's nothing. You're not." He's like, "But that being said, why don't you just pay me to wait outside, and I'll be your ride out of there." So y'all don't have to wait for an Uber afterwards, because apparently it wasn't in the best part of Vegas
I'd be all
proper.
about that. So apparently it was Ja Morant at the Shotgun Willie's in Denver.
Thank you, Keto Jar.
That's where Ja.
Oh, that's right.
And the Atlanta one is Lou Williams.
Yeah, that was Lou
yeah.
during the bubble.
He just wanted the wings,
Yeah.
man. I
The
got
wings,
those
the
wings
at Magic City.
I was in Atlanta last November, and I
and
went to Magic City and ordered the Lou Will special.
And
Lemon
guess
pepper
where
Lou.
he didn't go?
Yep.
He didn't go to the other side with the strippers.
No,
I saw
What a
them.
lame-
There's
what
kitchens
a
right here,
lame-
and the strippers
need to
over
go throw a
there.
stack
I
of
had
ones.
to go. I had a to-go order.
Just be like, ladies, I'm
get
gonna
my
film
chicken.
this. Here's a stack of ones. Make it.
Yo, there was like families like lined up, like getting chicken wings at the strip club.
yeah,
like, it was crazy.
It's like Hooters. It's just
No,
a restaurant.
everybody we asked were like, "Yo, where's a good place to get some food?" Oh, Magic City, baby. What? Yeah, really?
Yeah,
Like Magic City Kitchen is legendary.
dude. If everybody who's like, "Oh, the steak's good at the strip club," I just look at them in total disgust.
I'm not getting $2.99 steak and shrimp at no strip club. I'm sorry.
I do
I'm
not
San
eat at the
Antonio,
stripper.
no.
I do not eat at the titty, the titter bar.
It would be even though I know how great Magic City lemon pepper wings probably are.
But
Never
I think
had
they
them.
separated.
Lemon pepper
It's
wet.
like two different buildings, right? So there's like a divider.
No, it's not separated. It's the same building, and it's the tiniest
See,
building
again,
ever.
I still don't think I would break my rule. I'm not
So
eating.
there's kids in there watching girls twerking.
Not really, but like there's families showing up, and they leave. The kids aren't allowed in, so there's like kids hanging out
to-go
out front.
order.
Yeah.
They got a daycare outside. They got a daycare. Oh man, that's some Atlanta shit right there.
Yeah.
Hey,
I didn't
just watch
free-
my
I
kids
didn't-
real quick. I'm gonna go and
I
get
just
some
got
wings.
food. I didn't have a drink.
I'm gonna get
tip-
some wings.
I didn't stick $1 in anybody's ass crack. I just
With your
got
mouth.
my food and left.
You put
Maybe
the dollar in your
Three
mouth.
separate nights on the full week I was there. I ate at Magic City.
It has to be separate. Like if I'm going there, I'm either going for the girls or I'm going for the wings.
It's not separate.
It's got to be to go. It's got to be
That's
to
what
go.
I'm saying.
yeah,
I'm
you can
placing
get
a
to
to-go
go. Yeah,
order.
yeah,
like
you get to go.
Those worlds don't cross paths.
No, they
scene.
show you a little bit because they're trying to upsell you a little bit. Like,
Sure.
hey, you
They
sure
show
you
you a
want to
little
go? You don't want the
Here's
you
a
don't want that
nipple.
for here.
Here's a nipple for you.
Yeah, without a pasty on it. Thanks a lot,
Yeah, San Antonio.
Mayor Ron.
Was that Ron?
No,
I
it
think
was
that was
before
before
him.
Ron.
It was
Cisneros.
Yeah,
might have
no,
been
it was
Cisneros.
no, it was a
No,
Wolf.
he wasn't a fan of pasties. I remember that.
no, it was
If
it was
back
what's
in
his
the
name?
day.
It was Castro, wasn't it?
or it was
I think it was.
Hardburger or what? Phil Hardburger.
I remember when they
Oh,
first
from
passed
Harburger
it.
Park.
I'm
That son of a bitch did that.
I don't know. I'm just naming old mayors.
I know in 2011, when I first moved here, one of the first news stories I saw on the local news was like, SAPD conducts undercover sting where officers find
I had to do
indecent-
that gig.
indecent exposure. Exactly. Like I immediately.
I got on the titter gig. Shit.
It's like Leslie
Yikes.
Nielsen back in the old Police Squad show. There's one scene where he's like, there's a rash of prostitutes robbing men after the services are conducted. Unfortunately, I'm stuck on meter maid duty, and it's like I still remember that as a kid. I just remember thinking,
He's just all angry, just
yeah.
staring bullets in the
when
camera.
when I saw the local news, undercover SAPD officers, it's like,
God.
yeah, like
Vice Squad.
They're the ones in the champagne room giving us all a bad name.
1,000%.
I'm like, are you wearing basketball shorts, sir? That's my thing.
Yeah.
I'm just like, no, I'm not.
Good luck
Yeah,
with
yeah.
that. Yeah. Good luck getting in these days.
I've been kicked
as
out.
far as I believe that. As far as the rest of the weekend, pretty quiet on y'all's. I know first weekend of Fiesta. Anybody do any actual fiestaing?
Nah, man.
The roommate is at Market Square right now.
Taste of New Orleans looked damn
Yeah,
good.
Taste of New Orleans
That's
is
always my
always
favorite,
good.
man. But
Always
like,
good.
Yeah, the Zulu.
it still
nation
kills me that
knows
we
what they're doing.
can't get on the rocks like we used to at Sunken Gardens. Man, there used to be, if you looked at the rocks in the top left-hand side, if you walk up, there used to be a hole in the fence. And they would have cops patrol it, but you can sit there and sneak in and you just start running down those rocks, right into the crowd, right into the mosh
Just
pits.
disappear.
I've been into like 8 concerts and then pay a dime for them. And then Marley Fest, I sat there and took allegedly a water pipe with no tobacco to fill it, and yeah,
Smoking reefers?
it was a high time, dude. It seemed like it was a great idea until I couldn't get off the rocks for 2 hours.
Yeah, that's usually where all good ideas go to
The
die.
old chaos bong.
It's great.
Water pipes.
It's great to get there, but once you're there,
I'm like, oh man,
it can make
that's
leaving
a big jump right there.
yeah, it can make leaving way more difficult. Well, if that is our weekend recap, then we will get into the main segment tonight because teased it at the top. Of course, last week's episode was all previewing the NFL draft. Tonight, we will actually focus on
The results.
predictions that went right, predictions that went wrong.
Dude, I thought we hit everything. I thought like with our expertise opinions, I graded an A+++++.
Well, if you believe the experts, a lot of them have the Cowboys with an A+ draft. Hey.
Jerry had to pay some money for those.
Yeah. Well, I will say, last week when we were talking
that
about
was
the
horrible.
Cowboys,
God.
I expected them. I still thought there was a good chance they didn't go wide receiver at that 12th pick. And
If McMillan fell to him, they would have gone
they
with it.
definitely would have.
Yeah,
if
but
McMillan
they
had
didn't
been
trade
there,
up for him, which was a surprise to me.
it's the biggest surprise to me is not that they didn't trade up for him, but that they weren't the team trying to trade up for Travis Hunter or something big, something that big. Because I was
But
saying
did you see
last
what the
week.
Jaguars had to give up?
Oh,
And
it
that was just what they were 5th pick.
Yeah, from 5 to 2.
Yeah, they
gave up a lot.
They had to give up a 1st rounder, a 2nd rounder, and a 3rd rounder, and they got a 4th and a 5th.
Yeah, no, they gave up a lot.
That's
which,
a lot.
Again, I didn't expect the Cowboys to do anything like that, but it's been a while since Jerry has done anything like that. So I was I figured if it was going to be a trade up, it was going to be something real big, not just a couple spots. I really thought the trade down.
I think they're wearing him out by doing it late at night and stuff like that, so Jerry can't do any of that shenanigans.
Yeah, no, he's sundowning hard these days. I expected when they were sitting there at 12 last Thursday night, I didn't think it was going to be an offensive lineman's name called. And if they weren't trading down, I still kind of thought that would have been some D-line help in the 1st round.
But they're losing 2 guards, so like it.
Yeah, no, it makes a lot of
it
sense
was
on
logical.
paper. No, it makes a lot of sense. And you look at, when the Cowboys were in the middle of winning 12 games 3 seasons in a row, it was because they had they had an elite offensive line. They had invested in it. You still had.
And I still think
somewhat
Javonte
healthy
Williams.
Tyron.
I still think Javonte's got something there.
Yeah,
man.
and we'll talk about
he's a bruiser.
We'll talk about the running back room because they did end up addressing that need, but not till the 5th round. But intriguing guy that they got there, Jaden Blue. But if you're going to, I won't say it's not rebuild, it's reinvesting. Schottenheimer seems to be a guy that wants to get back to what that kind of Jason Garrett consistency of not, for lack of a better word, a bit boring. We want to invest, win the trenches.
He wants the power run and play action.
Yeah.
Power run, play action.
Which,
that's the style.
At this point, with
So
Dak
you get
as
short 3rd downs.
with Dak as immobile as he is now after the ankle and the hamstring last year,
His legs are trash.
You've got to invest in the offensive line, especially losing Zach Martin, instant Hall of Famer. It's a lot of pressure to say that Tyler Booker is going to immediately fill those shoes. But after last year, they invest in the offensive line in the 1st round with Tyler Guyton. He shows that he is nowhere near ready to be a day 1 starter. This Tyler Booker feels
I think they
very
overloaded
different.
him. They overloaded him because they didn't want to go Zach Martin's area, so they're just like, let's overload, the B gap or whatever gap.
Well, and Guyton was a right tackle in college. They were trying to get him to play left tackle last year to keep Tyler Smith inside. So, again, I think you look at their first 3 picks, 1st, 2nd, 3rd round, offensive line, defensive back.
Yeah.
Those are all the positions we were talking about last week of if they don't go wide receiver, if McMillan's not there, and I never really thought the Golden out of Texas was really going to be that guy at 12. I mean, there were even some.
Sorry, Green Bay fans. I don't think Golden's that. He ain't.
Well, he's going to wear number 22. That's unstable, untenable for a wide receiver.
That is a DB's number,
or it's a running back's number. Either way, but I think if you had been reading some of the tea leaves coming out of Dallas going into the draft, it seems like they liked the Ohio State wide receiver better than Golden anyway. What was Agbuka? But he wasn't going to be the pick at 12, which was why I thought, they're going to trade back. And then the more I started to read about Tyler Booker, because
didn't he not give up a sack?
I mean, he
gave up like one sack in his whole career.
So he's a guy that if you're looking to make the first offensive guard selection, take him off the board.
Yeah.
He went to high school at IMG. He went to Alabama, team captain. Yeah. Like, that's the kind of pedigree that if you're replacing a guy like Zach
probably
Martin,
the best coached offensive line in college football behind Georgia, maybe, and Ohio State.
Well, and it was back when Bill O'Brien was still there as their OC or quarterbacks. He was some offensive coach. I think it was full OC. I heard him talking about Tyler Booker on a different podcast over the weekend, and just the way that former coaches talk about this guy, it seems like they have, and it became a trend when you look at the rest of the Cowboys picks. They were absolutely valuing guys that were team captains on their team that had shown, leadership traits, had shown leadership
they're
capability.
Looking for the future. They're looking to keep these guys around for a long time, it seems like.
That's exactly what it's, again, where I say it's not a rebuilding, but it absolutely is a replenishing of the key areas.
Try to keep Micah in
defensive line.
Well, oh my God, Micah made seem like that guard pick was the worst pick ever.
But then he talked to him when Booker went on Micah on that Bleacher Report podcast that they were doing, and all of a sudden Tyler Booker's talking about my favorite thing is to make people hate football. When they go up against me and I see the joy leave their faces in the third quarter when we've been battling all game so far, and then Micah loses it and hype, ready to go out on the field and play. So all of that to say, there's nothing sexy about what the Cowboys did in day one or day two.
Yeah. But
they drafted best available player at positions of need. I'm not sure what else you could have asked for in the long run.
It was a solid draft. It was we'll see how, of course, with any drafts, you don't see the results for a year, maybe 2, maybe 3. But you have team leaders, Cowboys, you guys came in with a plan. Shore up both lines, get some defenses, and then maybe catch fire with the receiver in the late round.
Yeah, and the plan, going back to those years of winning 12 games, 3 straight seasons, winning 12 regular season games. I know not playoff success. You don't have to remind me, but you're a pretty damn good football team if you're winning 12 games in the regular season 3 straight years. The problem,
you just choke,
and that's where it's been the last 30 years. You don't have to remind me.
Here we go.
But the problem I think they got themselves into some trouble when all of a sudden you've won 12 games for a couple years in a row. Well, now you're thinking we're a 12-win team. We're not going to take...
You're hyping yourself up.
We're not going to take the guy that is going to be a starter in 3 years at a position where we already have a starter. We're going to take Mozzie Smith in the first round because we have a hole at defensive tackle. Now, does any other team have him rated this high? No, but we don't care about other teams because we're a 12-win team.
You had a win now.
Exactly. That's how you get Mozzie in the first round. That's how you get Schoonmaker at tight end in the second round, because you tell yourself, look, if we
We're
don't
just
take a
one
tight
piece
end
away.
now,
Yeah.
there's not going to be another guy on that tier level when it comes back around to us in the third. So, are we reaching for a tight end? No question, but we're also a 12-win team that has starters at every other position, and we need a tight end. So you start to force yourself to take reaches instead of taking best available. And I think that mentality really kind of got them in the position they're in now, whereas this draft, it feels like they've returned a bit to the old strategy, the old way of, like, look, Travis Frederick is available.
Yeah.
We need, are we happy with our offensive line?
I'm not
would a center be great?
Cowboys. I'm not mad at the Cowboys draft, and that's saying a lot because I love nothing more than to run them over and back it up and run them over again. But I think you needed more defense than y'all needed offense. How many guards did y'all? How many you picked up? A guard, a left tackle? No.
The tackle came in the 6th round, and he's probably going to move inside to guard at the pro level.
Did y'all get a linebacker?
Took the Shamar James in the 5th round, one of the youngest players in the draft. Another kid that was the crown jewel of Billy Napier's first recruiting class at Florida. Billy Napier, who we ran into at the Final Four Fan Fest. But when Napier got that job at Florida, Shamar James was in either his first or second recruiting class. I think it was his first class. And he was a huge get at the time. I mean, he's 20, maybe barely 21, one of the youngest players in the draft. It's like 6'1", 230, small, but he flies around.
Yeah.
Looking
at Lonnie defending picks. Don't you defend those Jerry picks, Lonnie? You're better than that.
No,
we're gonna tattoo over that star on your back.
You can look at the results and the fact that.
But let's talk about what everybody wants to hear. The Niners draft.
Okay, so hold on. It's funny, it was a good year for you and I to talk draft because I was really worried that y'all were going to take one or two guys at the pick right before Dallas because Niners were 11, Dallas was 12. I was worried there were going to be multiple guys in this draft where y'all took the guy
Saleh
Dallas
just
wanted.
took over our draft. Robert Saleh, we paid him. We got him back as our D coordinator, and he said defense. We're catching defense. We got 2 defensive tackles. They're going to be starters. They're going to plug the run. We had one of the worst run defenses in the league, just behind Vegas. We were horrible because of our defensive end. Jonathan Hargrave got hurt early, so we picked up 2 defensive tackles. We picked up another edge to help out Nick Bosa, and then we got my guy to replace Dre Greenlaw from Oklahoma State, Nick Martin. This dude he looks like Dre Greenlaw. He looks like an Navarro Bowman Dre Greenlaw, and I'm not a homer, even though Oklahoma State's my team.
You're going to need it, though, because Greenlaw just got hurt again.
Well, Greenlaw's out. He's a Bronco.
Well, who was it that they just had?
Dre Greenlaw. They said
I forgot.
That's the reason why we didn't. We actually flew over there to try to get Greenlaw back, but Greenlaw was in the shadow of Fred Warner, the greatest linebacker in the league right now. And he wanted to go to a solid D. Broncos are going to have a solid D, but Greenlaw, they say, is not a long-term injury, but he is constantly getting hurt. And Nick Martin's coming off of an injury, but he played 5 games last year and racked up 78 tackles in 5 games. So this guy, when he sees a hole, he bursts through it, man. He's got the fastest sideline to sideline lateral speed. I go on stats. I saw the stats for this cat, and I remember him last year, which is why everybody thought Oklahoma State was going to win the Big 12, is because we had studs on defense.
You're more excited about the defender they took in the 3rd round than the one they took in the 1st or the 2nd. You haven't even mentioned Alfred Collins, the UT kid.
Collins, yes.
You haven't even mentioned Williams, who y'all took the pick right ahead of Dallas at 11, another Georgia stud edge rusher.
He's gonna be a good compliment to Nick Bosa, but I think we needed that sideline to sideline linebacker to plug the run game, which was our biggest Achilles heel. And that's where we missed Drake Greenlaw. We had Devon Campbell, but that guy was old and ended up quitting on us. That little bitch. I'd never seen anything like that. But I'm excited for this kid because he deserves it. And when you see him play, you're going to see that intensity.
Did you watch him a lot? Did you watch him at all?
Yeah,
because
I watched all the Oklahoma State games.
I was still watching Big 12 because of the tech
He was a big
connection.
reason we got the last win over OU in the Bedlam. Shout out to you, Braun.
God, I forget.
Bedlam. Okay,
I forget
State.
you're a Cowboy at the collegiate level.
The true Cowboy. That's a true Cowboy right there. Oklahoma State.
You can't be a true Cowboy from Oklahoma. That's just not how that works. Real quick, looking back because I want to talk about, of course, Shador and Quinn and the bigger storylines from the draft. Last thoughts on the Cowboys real quick. I mentioned Booker a lot. The Ezeraku kid out of Boston College is an absolute stud that should be, I mean, with Sam Williams still coming back from injury, of course, DeMarcus Lawrence out of the building in Seattle now. Ezeraku should step right in and be a nice compliment to Micah in the pass rush. And then the real, I think, steal of their first 3 picks is the Revell Jr., the corner from East Carolina. If he hadn't blown his knee,
he looks like a stud, dude. He's tall.
He would have been a first-round pick without the injury. And of course, it's very Cowboys to take a guy that has injury concerns. Hey, we got it. We got him in the 3rd round. He should have been a first rounder.
What was that? Was that Van Winkle or no? What was the
Jalen Smith, the linebacker from Van Der Esch.
Van Der Esch.
Yeah, they still took Van Der Esch high though.
That was a first rounder.
Yeah, Jalen Smith was a 2nd rounder at when he came out of Notre Dame. But all of that being said,
he was good for 1 year,
a couple years. Mm-hmm. All that being said, the Cowboys team doctor is the guy who did the surgery on Revell Jr. So they had as much insight into the condition of the injury as anyone could have, and they get him in the 3rd round. And you're talking about a Cowboy team that, if you listen to Jerry's press conference after night 2 of the draft, he specifically called out Trayvon Diggs.
I must have missed that.
Oh, I'm a sicko for it. I was listening to it live. He explained the definition of woke, or at least what that means to him. I might have to find that audio. I'll bring that audio next. We'll have fun with Jerry next week.
Fucking Jerry.
He smiles and glory holes.
That's exactly right, Jerry. But he specifically called out Trayvon Diggs and the fact that after the first injury, he didn't rehab correctly to the full, didn't follow the guidelines of what he should have been doing. Damn. And then they get the second injury that turns out is worse than we even initially
just threw him under the bus.
Well, Jerry does that. When he gives you money like that, he'll call you out publicly more than he would if you're on a rookie deal.
Unless you're a quarterback.
Unless you're a quarterback.
Because you can call out. You could have called out Romo and Dak.
Well, let's be honest. You don't
Romo
call
was
out
a miracle.
You don't call out your quarterback.
Miracle.
You call out your cornerback.
Your cornerback.
That's just that's the hierarchy there.
The low hanging fruit, not the top of the tree.
But between those 3, Tyler Booker's going to be a day 1 starter. Ezeraku's going to be involved in packages, if not on the other side of the line from Micah, and then Revell Jr. If he's going to start training camp on the pup, but if he's healthy come week 1, he's your other starting corner opposite of Deron Bland, which also they're about to have to decide, are they going to give Bland $20 million in his next contract? Honestly, 20 plus million. It's
for 1 year, or is that
would
did
be,
he sign a contract already?
No, it's still rookie deal. That would, I mean, the franchise tag number would be somewhere in that ballpark. But if you were going to sign him long term, that's at least 20 a year.
Yeah, you're gonna have to give him at least
the corner
60
market.
Guaranteed.
And I'm not sure. One, I'm not sure I would do that.
Yeah.
2, I'm not sure they're going to do that. When you look at just everyone else, they got to pay Micah. They paid CD. Dak's number is outrageous. They're going to have to, you got to take care of Tyler Smith coming up.
I'm telling you, I still think I said it last time. They're gonna tank. QB class next year, even like if Arch comes out, he's going to come out if the Cowboys got anywhere close to a number 1 pick.
The only way they would tank is if it was just unintentionally Schottenheimer being such a bad head coach that they are terrible. I mean, they're clearly they're not. If they were tanking, they would be trading away Micah. They're not doing that. They're going. I mean, they're. You look at the NFC East every year; it's a new division winner. Yeah. They were the division winner 2 years ago. They're going. They're far behind Philly and Washington at this point.
Philly's got to rebuild after the Super Bowl. They lost a lot of good pieces.
Washington's the team that probably not betting favorite, but pretty close to Philly.
Yeah, and I
in
mean,
terms of confidence.
We'll see with the second year with Malik Neighbors and the Giants.
Well, and they trade up and take Jackson Dart to fill the room with Russ. Adding
Russ
Jackson Dart to Russ and Jameis. That's.
I want Winston, man. I got a fever, and I need some Jameis. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like Jameis is getting a little too overexposed. I'm seeing a little too much of Jameis at.
He's like, well,
on Bourbon Street, riding a pedicab.
He was like Fitzmagic whenever he did the whole chain thing. Like,
no one is more popular than the backup quarterback of an NFL team.
Yeah.
Unless you're the backup to like Tom Brady. I mean, that's.
Oh, sweet. Jimmy
no one
Garoppolo.
is more popular. Last thought on the Cowboys before we move on. You mentioned the running back. They're going running back by committee, but I'm not sure they have one guy that stands out as head of said committee. They draft Jaden Blue, the Texas kid, the speedster, fastest running back in the class.
So
Take
they're
him with
they're
that.
going to do the Thunder and Lightning with Blue and Javonte.
And it feels like Javonte is going to be the guy, which raises more questions because you let Rico Dowdle walk out the door, leave the organization. Is it because the money between him and Javonte Williams was not different? Like you actively chose Javonte Williams over the guy you've had in your building for the last 3 years.
Maybe Dowdle just was tired of dealing with Dallas.
Yeah, which very, very much could be possible. But I think you as far as running backs, you're still looking at a group that, I mean, even the Phil Maffa, the kid from Clemson in the 7th round, he's a 235-pound running back. If you're looking for thunder and lightning, there's a guy that can provide the thunder at least, but he's not going to play special teams.
You guys can't cut Vaughn, man. You're going to add that Mike Leach and just throw him over the pile for that 1-yarder.
Yeah, that's our secret Mike Leach.
That's going to happen.
No, there's going to be, it could be just like last year when they signed a couple of running backs in the offseason and then none of them made the team out of training camp. I mean, I think the only person that is probably guaranteed safe to make the team is Jaden Blue. And then it's figuring out who's going to be that by committee alongside him.
It's so wild, man.
He's got to stop fumbling the ball, though. That's his biggest deal.
You got 1 or 2 cats that will make the 1st or 2nd round in running backs. And then now the running back seems like a 4th or 5th round pick. We picked up the kid from Oregon in the 5th round.
Yeah, I like that pick, James.
Never fumbled the ball.
Yeah, I like
ball
that pick.
Security, big time.
That was someone I was hoping would be there for Dallas.
Yeah, he's a gamer. So Oregon hasn't been known to put out some good quality running backs.
Bucky Irvin last year.
Yeah.
Popped a mid-round, what was he, a 4th round pick, I think. Ends up, showing nicely in Tampa Bay last year as a rookie. Yeah. So our teams aside, looking at the rest of the NFL draft, the draft has crossed over into mainstream when the roommate is asking me questions about Shedeur Sanders. It's like, what's the deal with this? Why is he not being picked? Everyone's like, she was seeing it everywhere.
He got LeVar balled. Dion was out there bumping his gums. He wasn't taking his meetings seriously, but neither did, as you put it earlier, did Johnny.
There's a couple of angles to this. I think, first of all, if you're going to talk, as soon as you start making it a race thing, it immediately is a whole different conversation.
Yeah.
Now we're talking about the greater conversation of the role that race plays in America, in modern America. And you could quickly look at the top of this draft, it was a black quarterback that was taken 1-1, first overall. You're making it about race,
But
so that doesn't necessarily correlate. But you mentioned Manziel. I think it's also you have to be sympathetic to the guy that sits there and says, okay, so it's not necessarily just because he was a certain race, but you have to at least hear the fact that if you say it's bad interviewing, it's bad work, it's trying to maneuver behind the scenes, telling teams
didn't read the package.
telling teams we're not interested in you, so don't be interested in us. I think then you have, if we're going to talk about bad meetings with teams, Johnny Manziel went through the whole process high on coke and was still a first-round pick.
Hey, man.
So there's some privilege.
You'd always be closing. He was probably Wall Streeting those people. They were like he was out there just
set a steak
yacked
knives.
out of his mind, just like selling himself, and like the teams were like, "This man, he said some gold."
It's called cocaine.
He has a ton of confidence, a kilo of confidence.
Yes, that's exactly what Johnny Manziel had in college, was a kilo of confidence. Hell, he had it at Kerrville Tivy. I just think
it was just a LeVar Ball, like where he just hyped up his kids, and Dion was there, and they blackballed him. Not as bad as Cap, but like it just seemed like they wanted to put him in his place. And I think that unfortunately, Shedeur was drinking a lot of his own Kool-Aid. But you got Prime over there just sitting there pouring the sugar in. He was making it thick.
Let me ask you this.
Was
yes
that
or
racist?
No question.
I'm just playing.
Yes or no questions. Is Shedeur the better, if we're talking just the football player, of what we see as Shedeur on the field, the football player? Is he a better prospect than Cam Ward? No.
No, Cam Ward's got a better arm.
Cam Ward's better. Is he a better prospect than Jackson Dart?
I think so.
Is he a better prospect than 26-year-old Tyler Shuck?
Yes.
Is he a better prospect?
That was like
than,
old Brandon Whedon back in the day
than
for Oklahoma
Dylan
State.
Gabriel, who Cleveland took in the 3rd round.
These teams didn't want the circus. They didn't want the circus. That's all it was. It was like, why are we going to take a circus for this kid? Even though he win the Heisman 2 years ago? No, he was a runner-up.
Travis Hunter won the Heisman last year. With him throwing, all those touchdown passes to him.
I mean, Shedeur has game skill, and I believe all these coaches, GMs got together and they're like, if we can humble this kid, he might be good enough. And then you go to where QBs go to die, Cleveland.
Yeah, that's the most. Well, and
why?
Even go back to the live shot of Stefanski and Barry, their head coach and general manager, as they're announcing the pick. Both of them are just staring like they're POWs in North Korea, just staring at the camera. No celebration.
I think the owner got a hold of him.
Bingo.
The owner was like, pick him.
They took the guy they liked in the 3rd round.
Yeah.
When they got Dylan Gabriel.
Yeah.
Which, again, going back to last week.
How you going to pick 2 rookies? This is amazing from Cleveland. Cleveland's going to Cleveland.
That's all you can chalk it up to. When we talked, and it's also Cleveland had no issue taking the uber confident, cocky Baker Mayfield 1-1.
No.
So
Johnny Manziel.
Yeah, or as you said, geriatric Brandon Whedon back in the day.
Geriatric Brandon Whedon, yeah.
I think the bigger. We talked last week.
Dallas Cowboys' own Brandon Whedon.
Where I expected, God, that was such a bad year. If you were asking me about this overall quarterback class, I thought it was going to be someone taken in the 4th, 5th round that ends up being the best pro. I didn't think that was going to be Shedeur Sanders. I said that might be Dylan Gabriel. I'm not confident in it, but that might be him. Well, apparently the Browns agreed with me. They take him in the 3rd round, and then they're forced to take Shedeur.
I wonder how much of an ass chewing the GM and the head coach got from the owner to be like, you took Dylan Gabriel over Shedeur Sanders.
See, that was.
I think they got I think they got a 1-year contract right now. If they don't produce in 1 year, or at least start Shedeur, or Dylan Gabriel doesn't sit there and win them 10 games.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
I think they're gone.
So
they're both gone.
And here's the other side of that. They also have Joe Flacco in that quarterback room.
I thought Flacco was up in New York.
I'm pretty sure he's in the Browns room because it's
help me out,
Deshaun
chat.
Watson, who you're not going to get.
Yeah, you're right. I'm thinking Russell Wilson's the old man in that.
Yeah.
So they got Flacco,
looking at
who had a decent half year last year.
If that coaching staff goes with Flacco as the starter, or they
Till
go
he
with
gets hurt.
Dylan Gabriel, who they obviously liked, what's Dion like? This is the thing with Shador. When Dylan Gabriel has a bad game, is Dion going to react to that? Are they going to
Mel Kiper him? They should move him to wide receiver.
See, I just think when you talk about
That was for Lamar Jackson when they told Lamar Jackson
when Bill Polian said that. Yeah, I just think when you talk about the headaches that you will put up with as a backup quarterback, obviously Shador and Dion are not one of those headaches many NFL teams are apparently willing to take on.
And
I think the other part of that, though, is he actually better than a backup quarterback talent, and you were just trying to teach him some kind of backhanded lesson through this process?
I think Gabriel hit the nail on the head. This is not the NBA where LeBron gets to draft his son.
Yeah, no player is bigger than the shield. That's the
Prime
NFL.
Thought he could force his son to be a first rounder, and was just basically calling all the coaches and GMs idiots if they didn't draft him number one. And they're like, yeah, you're not LeBron. You are prime, but you're not LeBron.
Yeah,
this isn't the NBA.
I don't think that's far off at all. Quickly
That was
on
good. That was a good hot take there, Gabriel.
the other name, that really became a talking point amongst the quarterbacks. I mean, the fact that Quinn Ewers is the last quarterback drafted in this class, his 7th round pick. I'm pretty sure no quarterback was taken after him. He goes to the Dolphins.
Oh, God.
So he gets to team up with the mad scientist Mike McDaniel vaping on the sidelines. Like
my God,
it's kind of an ideal landing spot if you're Quinn.
I mean, he does get the ball out quick, but there's no mobility. There's no mobility, dude.
Oh, that's never going to be there anyway.
You got Tua throwing up crip signs, and it's like
it's not like Tua has much mobility either. Anytime
exactly,
he
that's
runs,
what I'm saying.
he gets
drafted. You're talking about someone that Shador could have shined in a town that is made for spotlights and egos and stuff like that, Miami.
I think that's why they didn't we can't Shador. We can't have Shador in
You don't
Miami.
think Mike McDaniels and Shador couldn't I
think it would be. I think it would have been great. Yeah,
I think they would have been. That should have been the pick.
Yeah, I don't disagree. They weren't. I mean, they weren't going to take a quarterback high anyway.
Yeah, but you got to sit there and Tua's a hit away from retiring.
I think that hit might have already happened if we're being honest.
He's playing on borrowed time.
Yeah, the unfortunate. If you had told me a year ago Quinn Ewers would lead Texas to 2 playoff appearances, would would keep his starting job over Arch Manning, would declare for the NFL draft, I would have said at worst that's fourth round.
Yeah.
At worst.
I would have said the same thing. 4th rounder.
I mean, we're talking about a guy like if we're grading.
Everybody's looking a year ahead.
If we're grading attributes, this was a guy that was the highest rating you can possibly have coming out of high school at the most important position, and all he did was not succeed to the fullest extent, but 2 playoff appearances for Texas that had never been there.
A total of 5 teams maybe that needed a quarterback that they could plug in this year.
That's a big part of the problem.
And you don't think all 5 teams aren't looking ahead to next year's draft class, knowing that they're not going to be playoff contenders? Vegas.
Well, okay. And
Jets.
That's the other thing. Vegas, Tom Brady mentored Shador, and they passed him more than any team in the draft. They passed him like 8 times. Yeah. They end up drafting the kid from North Dakota State, Cam Miller. The Steelers needed a quarterback. Yeah. They end up taking Will Howard from Ohio State. If you had told me Will Howard and a guy from
Oklahoma
the
State's
Bison,
Mason Rudolph is still there.
a guy from North Dakota State would go ahead of Quinn. I would have told you that's not happening. That's insane.
No.
So the Quinn fall was extremely surprising. And it also, if you believe the reporting, he could have made anywhere from $4 to $8 million if he had transferred to like Oregon. Oregon was apparently hot to try to interest him because
they're trying to get Tennessee's boy.
Well, until they ratted him out to Heupel and the coaching staff. But
did we go over like he lost $2 million in that because he went to UCLA with taxes and all that kind of good stuff? What a Kansas City shuffle right there, boy.
You're never winning if you're moving to the West Coast. Any other surprises?
I don't like that. Maybe in college.
No. The West Coast can have all of that land to themselves as far as I'm concerned.
Beautiful.
The only other real surprises
a whale's vagina
of the first round, we talked about Tyler Warren, the Penn State tight end, where I liked the idea of, man, if he's available at 12 and I'm Dallas, why not? It's another receiving option. Well, it turns out the kid from Michigan, Loveland, he ends up going before Tyler Warren anyway. Mm-hmm. So I thought that was pretty shocking. I felt it was pretty unanimous that Tyler Warren would be the first tight end. But
he was an all-around tight end. He was like a George Kittle, where you go out there and blocks. He'll sit there and help out on the run.
Warren is more of he's no slouch when it comes to physicality and run blocking, but he's way more of a receiver for sure. And you can't even make the argument that it's the Bears took Loveland, so they're choosing between two Midwestern tight ends. It's not like it's not like when they went with the local guy or anything. They had their choice between a Penn State or a Michigan guy. They're in Chicago, and they took the Michigan kid.
And they still got to develop a run game up in Chicago. So they took the tight end that can block a little better.
Yeah, Chicago is a fun team to think about with their, with Caleb Williams and some of those weapons now, but they're still a ways away. The only other real surprise, obviously we mentioned it earlier, Jacksonville's big trade to move up to get Travis Hunter, but Atlanta overpaid like crazy to get that second first-round pick. They end up giving up their first next year and a 2025 second-round pick, which was their day 2 pick this year.
So they gave up a first-rounder.
First-rounder next year, plus their second-rounder this year.
I missed this.
And I think they also gave up like a 7th maybe. And got back a 4th or something like that.
Okay.
But
who was the pick?
Atlanta ended up taking the edge rusher out of Tennessee. What was Pierce Jr.?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, after
they went defense. That's good.
Yeah, and they had, that was clearly their. That was their defense last year was historically. If it wasn't for Dallas's bad defense, more people would have been talking about Atlanta's bad defense. And they took. With their first pick, they took the kid out of another one of the Georgia kids, Jalen Walker, and then trade back in to get Pierce Jr. there in the 20s. I think it was 26. So a massive price to pay. But if those two guys are wrecking havoc in the backfield for a decade, you're not really,
especially 4 years before you got to pay him.
Yeah, exactly. But overall. The Cowboys, it was a boring draft, but sometimes boring is best.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of where...
When you say boring, it's because a lot of D-line and O-lines got
Football's
picked.
A boring game outside
playmakers.
Playmakers, right. But what wins football games? The
trenches.
The boring positions.
The trenches, those big boys up front.
They got better in the boring positions, still have holes, still have questions, still have needs. Like receiver, where they end up, we talked about them potentially getting a receiver with their first pick. Well, it turns out they didn't take a receiver all draft. So, but if you're, again, some of the tea leaves coming out of Dallas, there's a certain 30-year-old free agent, former Cowboy receiver who is still on the market, who there might be some mutual interest, Amari Cooper.
Oh, Cooper.
Which...
That'd be smart.
But Buffalo also said, thank you, Amari, but we don't need you last year in the playoffs. So I'd like to see exactly how much he has left, but he's still only 30.
Shakir he's the truth. He's the next Edelman.
Yeah. I don't think
ridiculous.
you're wrong there. Any other final NFL draft thoughts?
Nah, man, waiting to see, when camp starts and all that good stuff, so we can table football for the meantime.
Yeah, that is a perfect lead-in because when I say this is a lightning round, I'm going to try to make it as lightning fast as possible because I'm missing the Stars Avs Game 5
they
right
say
now.
They're down by 1 point.
Hey, give me that Shakira grito.
Old-time hockey?
LG, you ready for the lightning round?
Hit it.
Boom. Starting the NBA Western Conference.
Yeah.
It is a match made in heaven for the casual basketball fan right now.
Yeah.
You have 6 and 7 seeds both leading their series. You got the T-Wolves leading the Lakers now 3-1. And as much as I hate,
that was a foul.
so no question. As much as I hate calling games that aren't technically elimination games must wins.
Yeah.
In the NBA, if you're up 3-1 in a series, you win that series 95% of the time.
Definitely.
So it's not, if anyone's going to be the 5% that comes back, it's a team that has LeBron and Luka on it, and one of them just goes crazy.
JJ Redick is catching so much heat for leaving his 5 starters in for the whole fourth quarter, saying that they gassed out, and you can look at LeBron's shooting percentage and scoring points from the first half to the second half and how it depletes because it looks like he's tired. He's pulling up for 3-pointers when in the first half where he's going to the hole. So that's going to be a great game. So is Denver with the miraculous dunk.
Yeah.
The miraculous dunk with the Joker throwing it over the
Airball
backboard.
to Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon hitting his first buzzer beater of any kind of his career. Yeah, that ties up the series now. So that one is 2-2 Nuggets Clips. Lakers down 3-1 to the T-Wolves. But I think the best series in the Western Conference by far has been the Nuggets Clippers series is a great series. Yeah. But the most entertaining Rockets Warriors has been.
Oh man,
I love it
because you got Dylan. What's his first name?
Dylan Brooks.
Dylan Brooks.
Yeah, you got first name.
Oh, he's the young Draymond Green, and then you got the young, and then you got the old.
A third of the skills of Draymond.
Yeah,
I mean he's
just in your head.
He's like if Draymond actually wasn't a generational talent for all of the other things he does.
Generational talent. Calm down with that.
Draymond, I mean, Dylan Brooks is not a Hall of Famer. Draymond is a
Dylan
Hall
Brooks
of
is
Famer.
also in his 20s.
That's what I mean.
We don't know yet.
No, we know.
Dylan Brooks is a lockdown
We know
defender.
Dylan Brooks. No, the analytics don't actually support that.
Okay.
No, we know Dylan Brooks is not
game.
exactly. He does a good job of self-promotion, but there's a reason Memphis, a playoff team, was okay with getting rid of him to another up-and-coming team in the West. There's a reason.
Houston, if they get a good pick this year, man, they're gonna, man.
Or they take all those picks and end up entering the sweepstakes for a generational talent like Giannis, or Kevin Durant. Two guys that now are going to be the most talked about. Devin Booker, not grandstanding Cory Booker.
Cory Booker, man.
Those two, Giannis and KD are going to be the names we hear about the most outside of whoever is going to get Cooper Flag at the first pick. Both of those guys, KD is getting traded. I would say that confidently. Mm-hmm. Giannis, it would be because Giannis forces his way out. Yeah. And mentioning all of that, obviously on the heels of Dame, we got the confirmation earlier. That was a torn Achilles. Yeah. You could see it instantly.
All right, hit me with it. All right, Eastern Conference, man. The Knicks and the Pistons. What a series. This throws it back to like when they are beating each other up, getting elbowed up and down.
It would be a lot better if it was 2-2 right now, like it potentially should be after that no call at the buzzer yesterday. That was brutal.
God, man. If that series goes 7, That is going to be an epic Game 7.
The most annoying thing about it was, unfortunately, that was an ESPN game and not a TNT, so I had to listen to idiot Stephen A. Smith and Kendrick Perkins, Beaumont Ozen's own. One of my favorite things is when Kendrick says something stupid, and then someone on social media puts out the supercut of him just getting roasted by guys in high school because he can barely move. He was slow as hell. And there's some white boy like me that's getting around him in the post and he can't keep up. Listening to Stephen A. and Kendrick Perkins talk about that Knicks Pistons finish, where both of them were like, I mean, it should have been a foul, but the game was physical all time, and Pistons just got to play
all the
through
Knicks
it.
Homers.
It's like,
shut up, man. If that happened to the Knicks, they would be the biggest criers.
Bingo.
You gotta call a foul, especially. It doesn't matter if it's at the end of the game.
Bingo.
Your foul is a foul is a foul. Blah blah blah. Oh my God, Stephen A. Smith, man, do not run for president.
That drove me.
I will stick an ice pick in my ear.
Unfortunately,
oh my God.
I don't think he's taking political advice from us, but just hearing the way that game was talked about, because it was Detroit that got screwed. You're nail spot on. If that had been New York, then it would have been it would have led ESPN for the next 2 days until they play again.
And Cade Cunningham had such an open shot, man. That guy has come on. What was he? First round 3 years ago?
1-1.
Yeah.
DFW kid.
Yeah.
Dallas's own.
He's coming into his own, man. I like him.
As far as the East is not nearly. I mean, now Celtics have a commanding 3-1 lead over the Magic. There's been some questionable officiating in that series.
Milwaukee's done.
Milwaukee's done because Dame's out.
Indiana's gonna win that
one. And I honestly, even with
I'm excited for the
Dame,
second rounders. I'm excited for the second round.
The second round will be good because Pacers. I mean, the Cavs swept. They finished off. They were up by 60 at halftime earlier tonight against the Heat.
Charles Kinney and Shaq were just roasting them at halftime.
You mentioned second round of the East. We're going to get Cavs Pacers, and we're going to get potentially Knicks Celtics. That's a great
games.
Second round matchup.
I can't wait
and then whatever happens in the West. LG, give me an interstitial. Oh, I like that. Turning to the frozen pond playoffs, as much as we talk about how great the NBA Western Conference has been.
How many overtimes has there been, man?
Buddy, every single series in the West is tied 2-2.
Every
single series is tied 2-2. That includes my Stars and Avs. That includes
that are down 0-2 now. I'm playing.
The Kings Oilers series. If you've been watching that, the Oilers in Game 3.
Didn't they come back from 3-1?
That was last night. In Game 3, the Kings had the lead. It was a high-scoring game. It was 6-5 or 5-4. Edmonton scores to tie it. Yeah. The Kings coach, I don't know what they saw. I don't know who on the staff told him to challenge it. They challenged for goalie interference. There's nothing close to being even questionable. The goal was good. The problem in hockey, when you lose a challenge, you immediately have to go on the penalty kill. The other team gets a power play if you get a challenge wrong. It's great. Wow. There's actual repercussions for slowing the game down to make us watch a replay.
Like
it's spectacular. Hockey's the best sport in the world.
I like that.
Outside of soccer.
And there's been some sick hits. I've been seeing.
Dude,
I saw them today.
We've got suspensions. We've got bench clearing brawls like it's baseball. But you go back, that Game 3, Edmonton ends up scoring on that next power play, and they end up winning that Game 3. So the Kings probably should have won Game 3. And then last night, they're up 3-1 in the third, end up giving up the game-tying goal with 29 seconds left. And then Draisaitl, the leading scorer in the league this year, gets the winner in overtime. So that series, very slim margins, should have been a Kings sweep, but instead Connor McJesus and the Edmonton Oilers have a tie series 2-2.
I heard one of those hits was from one of the guys that are like, there's never going to suspend him because he's like hockey's golden boy right now.
Yeah, there's been Tkachuk ended up not getting.
There's that name.
He ended up not getting, and I'll tell you why. The hit he put on the guy.
Yeah.
The guy had been playing the puck. The guy had the puck.
Yeah.
And he passed it off.
Mm-hmm.
but you could at least argue Kachuk was finishing his hit.
Yeah.
Like it was dirty, not dirty. It was a heavy hit.
It was just the whiplash.
It was,
neck.
yeah.
It was
like, the way the guy's body was propelled, like it was not a.
It was a playoff hit.
It was a playoff hit, right? But it was not a suspendable hit like the other one.
Even if it was a suspendable hit, I heard they ain't suspending them.
No, they weren't going to, especially
he's
after the way he played his ass off for America in the Four Nations. But
all right, hit me again. Oh man, the kid from Atlanta's defensive coordinator.
Oh, okay.
Prank calling Shador. Everybody, it's classless. Oh, it's here. Hey, guess what? That shit was funny.
Okay, two things can be
That shit
true.
was funny.
Two things can be true.
I would never do it, but that shit was funny.
One, it was funny, but also two,
You gotta keep waiting.
That
you
falls.
and then, like he full sent it. He could have put on a ski mask. He could have sat there. Nah, he was like, no, I want my face on this. I want to be known. I'm posting it. Bring me all the smoke.
So it ends up being the 21-year-old son of the Falcons defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
That did the prank call. And the bigger issue, it's a prank call.
It's on the dad for leaving the number out.
No question.
Yeah.
And it's a prank call. The world is not ending because of it. I get that. There's a lot of rush to talk about how
internet is
classless.
undefeated.
Of course.
The internet is undefeated.
But at the same time, if you give, like the phone Shador had was specifically provided to him from the NFL. It was a number that no one knew he had unless you were connected to the NFL.
And why would the defensive coordinator have?
Well, they get the number for every prospect.
But I mean, I would assume that's the GMs. That would be like, if anybody's making the call, it's going to be the GM or the head coach.
Yeah.
Maybe the offensive coordinator.
Maybe that's
but
the
not
issue.
the defensive coordinator.
Maybe that's the issue. Maybe Atlanta gave the numbers out to too many people. Maybe it should have only ever been owner and general manager and head coach.
I think the kid did a service.
I think if they docked Atlanta draft picks, that would be stupid. That would be way too much.
Don't do that.
But some kind of fine. You got to do something. You got to do something to prevent that from happening every year, because it's not a good look for the league, as funny as it is.
I think the league should fine the Atlanta Falcons as a whole, because that was a botch from the top down. You know what I'm saying?
And I think that'll end up being the outcome. LG, give me an interstitial.
Yes!
Hell of an interstitial. That is actually
she meant it.
That is a perfect time to talk about. Any of you boys catch Bill Belichick's CBS Sunday morning interview?
No.
LG, do you have a clip of that?
One second.
Coming right out from robe, just
he was wearing one of his
sexy time.
He was wearing one of his patented sweatshirts that looks like it's 50 years old, dressing up for his Sunday morning news interview.
Ooh,
but
look at him.
The biggest
look at that cool hipster rip right there. Oh yeah, she's dressing him.
The biggest takeaway is the fact that the more we learn about this girlfriend he has, the more questions I have. LG, fire that off. This is from CBS Sunday Morning News.
You were treated with dignity and respect when you were let go by Robert Kraft?
Yeah, well, it was a mutual decision for us to part ways.
He said fired.
What a ratty ass shirt.
It was a mutual decision.
That's the style.
The other change for Belichick
first of all,
is
pause it real quick,
24-year-old Jordan.
The fact that he that is so awkward. It was a
Bill
mutual
Belichick.
decision.
It's a mutual decision. He sounds like he's on the podium right now. You know what I'm saying? After post-game interview.
Another part of the interview, they asked him. They're like, "Well, you didn't even mention
creepy eyes.
You didn't even mention Robert Kraft in the book anywhere." And he just sat there for 6 seconds of silence, and then just goes, "Correct." Like, what else you got? All right, this is the gold though with the girlfriend.
Hudson, his creative muse, as he writes in his book.
Make sure that's the
Jordan was a constant presence during our interview.
You have Jordan right over there. Everybody in the world seems to be following this relationship. They've got an opinion about your private life. It's got nothing to do with them, but they're invested in it.
She interrupts it.
How do you deal with that?
Interrupt it.
never been too worried about what everybody else thinks. Just try to do what I feel like
I want
is
her to
best for me
walk on
and
and be
what's
like,
right.
how dare you?
How did you guys meet?
Not talking about this.
Yes!
No.
It's a topic neither one of them is comfortable commenting on, though Hudson has recently posted about it on Instagram.
You joined InstaFace, as you put it. I
Yeah.
love that. There's some great pictures of you and Jordan, where you're a fisherman and she's a mermaid. It's charming. It's a different side of you.
Holy shit.
What's the reaction been like?
What's it been like?
To have these different
He's
sort
like,
of photos. There's
what
another
the
one where you're doing, I know you're not
sick
into
mother-
meditation or yoga or Pilates. You're balancing Jordan on your feet and she's doing kind of the Titanic pose.
Yeah, so I'm on some of those social media platforms, but I honestly don't follow them.
Okay, that's
What he
that's
does
the goal.
follow
This is
So-
cringe. That was so cringy, man. Like,
Dude, I'm telling you, the more
we're not answering that. Oh man, I
So,
loved it.
the more
I'm there for it.
the more that's been released from the interview too. Apparently, she
directed the whole thing.
She
She directed the
interjected
whole thing.
multiple times.
Fucking love it. Have you seen her on the field in high heels,
It's-
going up, talking to him while he's
It's
coaching?
ridiculous.
And then she goes back and talks to, I don't know if there was like the GMs or boosters or something. And then she goes back and talks to him more. Like she's sitting there she's sitting there delegating his personal, like, what do they call them for the actors? You know, like the people who delegate.
Oh yeah, she's working as publicist,
A publicist,
personal
yeah.
assistant. She's doing it all.
Publicists, handies.
Yeah, I was about to say she's
blowies.
literally doing it all.
She is keeping that man young.
The biggest, the more you learn. So what we have
What the
been
fuck was
told
that, dude?
is they met on a plane ride when she was 20 years old, I believe. Like she's
Yeah,
24
I heard
now
that.
and he's
I heard that.
73. They have emails where she's emailing UNC's athletic department saying people are calling Bill a predator on Facebook. Are we
She's the
going to
predator.
allow that?
She's the fucking.
I'm
She's
just-
the
there's-
predator.
there-
She is.
More questions. More
She's
questions.
a mad scientist, dude.
More questions, the
Mad
more I learn
scientist
about
whipping
her.
it up down low, dude. You know what I'm saying?
Give me
Like,
one more interstitial, LG. Lastly, we're not going to spend more than 30 seconds on this. There is no way in hell 100 grown-ass men could take down a gorilla. It's not happening. It's not. Have y'all
Where did this
missed?
come from?
You haven't been online this past
100 men
4
tried
days.
to take down a gorilla?
No, it's the hypothetical. One tweet went viral. This is the world we live in
He
now.
would backhand you and just like break all your bones. Have you
one
seen
guy-
a gorilla go crazy?
Yes,
God.
I watched Congo. One guy
Gorillas in the mist?
makes one tweet saying, "There's no way 100 people could beat up could kill a gorilla." So that's one tweet. It goes viral, and now all of a sudden, the New York Times is doing a piece on it. The failing New York Slimes. You've got it on CNN. You've got it on Newsweek.
I can see
You've
a
got
bear.
it on USA
I can
Today.
see a bear because if you get a bear on its back,
No!
if you get a bear on its back, it's got the motion. But a gorilla on his back, he's picking you up with his feet and his hands. There's no way to strap him down.
You have a better chance against a bear. You have zero chance against a gorilla. If you took 100 of the biggest offensive and defensive linemen in the NFL right now, they're not doing jack
Shit, no.
to
No,
a
no,
gorilla. And also, it's not like it's going to be 100 guys all at once on a gorilla. It's like 10 waves of 10 at a time.
Yeah.
It's not.
The gorilla and the fear that he would put in those 90 guys after dismantling and ripping apart those first 10. Yeah.
LG,
that's not happening.
I assume you agree.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
I've
I
seen
could get a wolf. I
I've
could get
seen
a
that
wolf.
chimpanzee show on HBO where they rip people's faces off.
Yeah, and that is
Yeah,
that is
it's
about
unfortunate.
1/8 the size of a gorilla, if
Exactly.
not less.
Yes. No.
Well, I'm
That's
glad.
just stupid. That's
I'm
internet
glad-
is dumb.
I went to the sanctuary here. There's one over in Fair Oaks.
Oh, yeah.
And like those
primarily
guys.
primates.
Yes, man. Support. Yeah, those those guys are scary in person, man. Like I had one piss on me, dude.
Well,
and spit on me.
Well, that's you know what that is.
I was like, that monkey started
that
it.
Is a
I got to apologize to the chimpanzee.
That is him disrespecting you and letting you know where you stand in the pecking order here. You're on his turf.
I was about to find a rock and throw it at his ass.
Now, all that being said, I'm pretty excited to see the gorillas return to the San Antonio Zoo. So
come here.
Oh yeah,
do it for Harambe.
We should go there and do a bit, right?
yeah.
Do it
I'm
for
sure.
Harambe, man.
I'm sure Tim. I'm sure our buddy Tim at the zoo is probably itching to have 100 volunteers show up to fight their newly purchased gorilla. Well, on that note, LG, get us out of here. I have got to get home. Actually, not get home. I have to get to the beverage establishment of my choosing to watch a little playoff hockey.
3-1, huh?
Big Star, god dang. Big Stars Avs game tonight. Rest of the week, TBD. We're still working on things.
Yes.
We might be having some live midweek shows, not just Monday moving. Again, soft opening. Bear with us, stick with us.
I'm here for it.
Appreciate you all riding along. Till next time, peace.
Kids, what do we say about drugs?
Only